بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أبنائي الأعزاء، النهارده إن شاء الله we'll talk about how can we design a market index. الماركت index هو مؤشر السوق. This lecture number 6 for the third year business section, English section. الماركت index في الحقيقة اللي احنا عاوزين نتكلم عنه، عاوزين نعرف how can we read البوينتس بتاعت الماركت اندكس، ايه الريليشن بين الليكشر دي وبين الرياليتي. انت you have to know ان احنا in Egypt we have 5 indices. عندنا ال EGX 30 this is the most common index عندنا، وعندنا EGX 20 و50 و70 و100. النمبر ده يعني ايه؟ انا هتكلم عنه دلوقتي. الحاجه الثانيه في الحقيقه ان احنا we have to know ان الاندسز اللي موجوده عندنا احنا مش بعيد عن اللي بيحصل في الماركت. ده الداو جونز الامريكي، انا سوري ما عملتش ابديت للارقام دي من 15 of March، لكن الداو جونز في 15 of March كان 23,185 بوينتس. ده نتيجة ان هو زاد 1,985 بوينتس في اليوم ده. في التوقيت ده كان الايجيبشن ستوك ماركت في الحقيقة كان نازل، هو النهارده الحمد لله طلع، بس الايجيبشن ستوك ماركت اللي هو 30 حاول يعني الكلام ده، بس هو كان نازل 1,045 بوينتس، حاول يعني الكلام ده برضه. والايجيبشن 100 كان نازل جاست 83 بوينتس. هتقول لي طب هو انت في سوق واحد احنا بنتكلم على الايجيبشن ماركت، ليه اندكس مؤشر طلع نزل 1000 ومؤشر تاني نزل 83 جاست 83 بوينتس؟ هحاول الكلام ده كله برضه. النيكل الياباني في اليوم ده كان نازل 1128 بوينتس. فانت you have to recognize ان normally بيبقى فيه correlation between the whole world، يعني عالميا لما الاسواق بتنزل كلها. لكن في اليوم ده نتيجه التوقيت، في اليوم ده كان النيكي نازل، الايجيبشن ستوك ماركت كان نازل، لكن الداو جونز طلع. تاني يوم ممكن الامور تختلف زي النهارده اللي كان حاصل. فاحنا النهارده ان شاء الله هنفهم يعني ايه المؤشر. انت برضو ده ال70 كان نازل جدا في اليوم ده، ده ال30. لو تلاحظ احنا ممكن we can make it in a graph، يعني نرصد حركه المؤشر في جراف. ده daily change. لو تلاحظ احنا كنا بادئين المؤشر عند هذا المستوى 11.300 something، وبعدين from the beginning until the end we have sharp decline، في نزول حاد من اول ما نزلنا. الناس المهتمه بالستوك ماركت بتعرف لما ده بيحصل for sure second day، يعني انت النهارده بادئ عند مستوى معين ومفيش اي حاجه خلتك تطلع during the day وانتهيت عند the lowest point، ده معناه ان الديكلاين ترند ما انتهاش. فبيحصل في الحقيقه ان سكند دي كمان لازم يكمل، وده اللي حصل في الستوك ماركت بتاعنا بتاع مصر. انا كل اللي هعمله النهارده في الحقيقه ان ده طبعا برضه نفس الحكايه على ال 100 الاي جي اكس 100 اللي هو متكون من 100 سهم. تلاحظ برضه من ساعه ما بدانا لحد ما نزلنا في اكسسيف سيلز، الناس كلها عماله تبيع الاسهم اللي معاها، فمفيش اي حاجه تدعم السوق ان هو تخليه يقوم، فالمؤشر عمال بينزل وانتهى عند ادنى مستوى، فبالتالي تاني يوم هيكمل كمان نزول. هتلاحظ ايه؟ هتلاحظ ان المؤشر ده اللي هو الاي جي اكس 100 نزل في اليوم ده ب 7%، هنا بقى مش بتكلم على بوينتس، انا بتكلم على برسنتج. ومن from the beginning of the year هو نازل accumulative 22%، نازل 22%. ده التراكمي بتاعه. الكلام ده كان في 15th of March، احنا بنتكلم النهارده 19th of March. دي كانت الليكشر بتاعت زملائكم في شعبة اللغة العربية. فبنتكلم على الفور دايز دول. يعني في تغيرات تانية كتير برضه حصلت. ولو اتكلمت على ال 70 برضه هتلاقي ال 70 ارجوك ركز في مكتوب ايه؟ اي جي اكس 70 اي اللي هي ايكوالي ويتد اندكس. جاست بس فكر او افتكر الرقم ده، هقول لك ايه معنى الكلام ده. برضه تلاحظ ان كان في سيطره تامه لعمليات البيع خلت المؤشر ينزل عند ادنى مستوى. فالمؤشرات المصريه كلها في اليوم ده كانت بتنزل. فلذلك مذيع النشره لما هيجي يطلع هيتكلم على الكلام ده كله، وهيقول ان المؤشر اي جي اكس فقط 9% من الفاليو بتاعته، ومن اول السنه هو فاقد 27% من الفاليو بتاعته. ده بيشدنا لايه؟ قبل ما ابدا برضه الدرس، ده بيشدنا هل معنى ذلك ان اللي اشترى اسهم في البورصه امبارح بالضروره لازم يكون فقط 9% من الفاليو اللي هو شاري بيها؟ يعني لو شخص كان شاري مليون اسهم امبارح، هل معنى كده ان الراجل ده لازم يكون فقط تقريبا 10% من ثروته؟ في الحقيقه مش بالضروره، بس هقول لك امتى اللي حصل في المؤشر ده يكون حصل فيه الثروه بتاعته. النهارده ان شاء الله كل اللي احنا هنتعلمه مع بعض، انا كل اللي هتكلم فيه ان انا هاخد اكزامبل واحد بس. هذا الاكزامبل انا هبدا اتكلم فيه طب هو المؤشر بيتبان ازاي، وده معناه ايه، وازاي بنحسب الفاليو بتاعته، وازاي بنحسب البوينتس اللي حصلت النهارده، ودي معناها ايه البوينتس، هل التشينج ده، وهل ممكن ان احنا نقدر نعمل عمليه بريدكشن للاندكس فيما بعد هتحصل ايه ولا لا. ده اللي احنا هنشوفه النهارده ان شاء الله مع بعض. خليني ابدا معاك الكتاب، بس انا عاوزك جاست تو ريمبر ان احنا عندنا 3 ستوكس. يعني انا هبدا معاك بان انا اسيوم ان انا معايا 3 ستوكس دول اللي هبني عليهم المؤشر اي بي سي، ودي النمبر اوف شيرز تريدبل اللي هي بيتم تداولها. السهم الف ده بيتم تداول منه 200 سهم، اللي هي الفري فلوتنج اللي هي قابله للتداول في البورصه. الستوك بي عنده 100 شيرز، الستوك سي عنده 150. طيب دي البرايسز اللي انت عاوزه. فانا اسيوم انها في 1 اوغست كان البرايس 20 30 50 لاي بي سي، والبرايس في 1 اكتوبر ذا سيم يير ال 20 بقت 30، ال 30 بقت 40، ال 50 بقت 70. يعني حصل ان الاسهم كلها زادت خلال الشهرين دول. وكمان بس كنت بقول ايه قبلها؟ بقول ان في اليوم اللي هو 1 او 1 اوغست كان الاندكس فاليو كان 150. فانا كل اللي عاوزه، كل اللي انا هشرحه في الليكشر دي، طيب اذا كان الاندكس عند الاسعار دي كان 150، المفروض الفاليو بتاعت الاندكس تبقى كام في 1 اكتوبر لو الاسعار دي اتغيرت بالشكل ده. ده كل الليكتشر بتاعي. وساعتها تفهم لو ال 150 دي مثلا بقت 200، يبقى معناها ان الاندكس بتاعنا زاد ب 50 بوينتس. طب دي معناها ايه؟ هي في الحقيقه ملهاش اي معنى لوحدها، بس اللي تفهمه ان لو هو كان 150 واصبح 200 يبقى معناه ان زاد ب 50 بوينتس. طب ال 50 بوينتس دي از برسنتج تمثل قد ايه؟ هو ده اللي انا عايز اسمعه منك. يبقى ساعتها هتعمل ايه؟ هتاخد ال 200 اللي هي الفاليو بتاعت دلوقتي ماينس ال 150 اللي هي الفاليو اللي انا كنت بادئ بيها، فتديني تشينج قدره 50. اجي واخد التشينج اللي هي قدره 50 دي واقسمها على ال 150 اللي هي الفاليو بتاعت الاندكس ات ذا بيجيننج، فتطلع 1 ثيرد 50 على 150 تطلع 33%. دي معناها ايه؟ معناها ان انا لو كنت مستثمر مليون جنيه في فيرست اوف اوجست وصبرت عليهم لفيرست اوف اكتوبر، المفروض اون افريج الثروه بتاعتي تزيد 33%. يعني المفروض ان ثروتي لو حبيت ابيع الاسهم بتاعتي دي فانا ابيعها بمقدار 1,330,000. ده اللوجيك اللي ورا كلمه الاندكس. بس هل ده مظبوط 100% اللي انا بقوله؟ هو يبقى مظبوط في حاله واحده بس. يبقى مظبوط ازاي؟ ان لو انا كنت عامل الثروه بتاعتي المليون دي كنت موزعها على نفس الاسهم المكونه للاندكس. مش بس كده، لا ده انا كنت اكون موزعها على الاسهم المكونه للاندكس وكمان بنفس الويت اللي داخل الاندكس. ازاي بقى الكلام اللي انا عاوز اقوله؟ تعالى همشي معاك بديتيلز بسيطه جدا. انا عاوزك تبقى متخيل ايه؟ عاوزك تبقى متخيل انا هتكلم على المؤشر المصري اللي هو الاي جي اكس. ارجوك بقى ركز معايا جدا عشان نفهم القصه قبل ما ابدا المساله. بس انت فاهم انا في الاخر عاوز اعمل ايه؟ انا عاوز في الاخر نفهم how can we calculate the value of the index at the end and how can we calculate the rate of return for the investor he invested in the market. فassume ان الاي جي اكس 30. What does it mean EG X30? EG X30 means that from the 219 companies listed on the Egyptian stock market, we select only 30 companies. These 30 companies, they will be represented in the index, which we call it EGX30. If I'm talking about EGX 100, it means we will select 100 companies. 70 means what is the criteria to select the company from the market? Okay. According to the EGX30 criteria, we select the biggest companies. What does it mean, biggest company? Okay. We calculate something, we call it market cap. Market cap, or we call it market capitalization. This equal what? Equal the number of shares issued multiplied by the stock price. Example, assume we need to calculate the biggest company in the Egyptian stock market, which is the CIB Bank. Assume it has 2 billion shares and the stock price equal 16. This means if we have a strategic investor, so we have this strategic investor to buy the whole bank, he has to pay the multiplication of 2 billion shares multiply 60, which is the stock price, which equal 120 billions Egyptian pound to buy the whole bank. What we call this? We call it the market cap. So EGX30, he select the biggest 30 market cap companies. So the first one is the CIB. After that, I don't know what is after that, but okay, it could be as company, it could be Talat Mustafa company, it could be whatever. So this is the 30 companies. So this is the first criteria. Second criteria, the stock we select must be very active. What I mean by active? It means it has a trading every day, which means that the stock of this related to this company, many people they buy and sell these stocks. So we will call it its active company. Third criterion, it must be we have diversification. We have في تنويع. Diversification means it could be the 30 biggest companies related to only one sector, bank sector. No, we need bank sector. We need commercial sector. We need the real estate sector. So we have to have a diversification. So this is the most criteria when we build an index. Okay. Now, assume we started today with an index has a value equal 13,000 points. At this day, CIB Bank has a price equal 60. S has a price equal 8. Talat Mustafa has a price equal 7. And so on. By multiply the stock price by the number of shares, we get what? We get the market cap. Okay. So, and if the summation of the market cap of the CIB as Talat Mustafa and so on, assume the total market cap for all companies related to the index equals 300 billion. Okay, so this is the market cap when the index value equals 13,000 points. Second day, which is today, assume this is yesterday. Today, we have what? CIB increased to be 64. S unfortunately declined to be 7. Talat Mustafa increased to be 7.5 and so on. Again, we will recalculate the index market cap. Again, how can we calculate the market cap? By taking the prices, multiply the number of shares of each company. Assume the summation of those is equal 303 billion Egyptian pound. In this case, we need to calculate how much the value of the index after the end of this day. In this case, to calculate the value of the index, we have to do the following. The value of the index today equal, this is the value of the index at the time of t, which is today, equal, please highly concentrate, equal what? Equal the market cap today divided by the market cap yesterday, which you will call it t minus 1, all multiplied by the value of the index at the time of t minus 1. Equal, please highly concentrate, equal what? What is the market cap today? 303. What is the market cap at the time of t minus 1? Just 300. All multiplied by, appreciate if you said, multiplied by value of the index at the time of t minus 1, which equal how much? 13,000. So the value of the index, in this case, it will be 13,130 points. Now, this is our lecture today. What does it mean that the value of index 13,130 points? What does it mean? Is this value of money or what? No. all you have to do, you have to calculate the change of the index value. So delta of the index equal 113, which is the value of today, minus value of today 13,130 minus 13,000, which is the value of yesterday. So we can call that the change of the index is positive 130 points. So in the TV, you will hear that the index value increased by 130. Again, what does it mean? It means that you have to calculate the change as a percentage. How can we calculate the percentage? By taking the change itself divided by the value of the index of the previous day. So the change is 130 divided by 13,000, which equal 100%. No, sorry, just 1%. Okay. The conclusion, what this means. What does it mean? That the market index today increased by 1%. It means that overall, on average, this 30 companies increase by 1%. Is this mean that each individual company by itself increased by 1%? No. Because CIB increased, okay. Talat Mustafa increased, but unfortunately, the Izz company decreased. So, but overall, the 30 companies increased by how much? 1%. So, when my portfolio, when my wealth, when my money will represent exactly what happened to the market index. This is, if I said before, if I invest yesterday 1 million Egyptian pound in the 30 company with the same weight of the companies on the index. In this case, if the index increased by 1%, my wealth also will increase by 1%. What does it mean by the weight? It's the same weight. If you still remember when I told you that the value of the CIP equal 120 billion, when we multiply 2 billion shares, multiply 60, so the market cap of the CIP at that time equal 120 billion. So by taking this value divided by the total value of the index, so we get what? We get around 37-36%. This is the weight of the CIP. What this means? It means if I need to match or to get a copy from the index itself, 37% of my wealth must be invested in the CIP. And assume 10% in Izz, 5% in Talat Mustafa, and so on. And the total weight must equal how much? Equal 100%. If you do that, in this case, what happened to the index will be reflected exactly in your portfolio. This is the idea of the index. Okay. EGX 70, what does it mean? It means we have an index contains 70 companies. What is the criteria? 70, it has the smallest company. PE, concentrate only for the small companies. 50 companies. 20 companies. 100 companies. And the 100 companies is the summation of this 30 and the 70, which is the smallest company. And this is the biggest index in Asia. Okay, now we need to know, this is our lecture will start now. We need to know how can we design an index. Again, before I start, you have to know what? You have to know that sometimes we can talk about the index by points, and we can talk about the index by percentage. Remember, when our index declined by 1,045 points, which is represent 9% from the index. So both we can read, but most common one that and respectable one that when we have to about the index by percentage, because the value of index different from another each one. You see this one? The value of the whole index is just 1,000 points, but this one it has a value of 10,000 points. So it will mislead you if you know that EGX30 declined by 100, and this one, EGX100, declined also by 100. Do we think that the 100 for EGX30 is the same effect that the 100 point for EGX100? No, for sure. Because this 100 points, it is 100 points from what? From 10,000 points. But this 100 point is just 100 points from what? From 1,000 points. So, please, when you talk about an index within one, don't talk about the value of the point only. You have to talk about the value of the point and what are
percent.
And the percent. Okay? Perfect. Now, we are ready to start our example, and you have to know after we did that, we have one which is the same as an homework. You can do it and send it to me by email, and by the end, inshallah, you have it. Okay? I have a one with a real information, which is this one. I will give you an information from reality to test yourself. How can you design an index? What do you need to design an index? It's okay. If you can design, you design an index. By the end, I will let you know how can we sell this innovation to someone, because we can gain the money by just design an index and sell it to broker, to bank, to portfolio manager, to the stock market itself. So today, please don't take it as a normal lecture for the exam. No, take it as a lecture to learn how can we earn money by make an application, real application by the end. Okay. Also, I need you to know that for gold or silver or platinum or platinum, they don't have an index. They don't have an index. Why? Because this is a single product. Single product, that's okay. The gold price declined by 0.5% approximately. This is the gold price. Silver price declined by 0.17%. Platinum declined by 5.9%. It's okay. This is not an index because this is a single product. even the oil, the oil is declined by 10%. Also, we don't have an index for a single product. The index, it has to be for a variety of products, a variety of stocks. So this is why we have to make a combination and calculate the index value to represent what happened for the whole market. Okay. Also, before I start my lecture, I need to share you some information. I need you to know that we have a big problem here in Egypt, which is this one. Yes. Please highly concentrate with this value. This is the Egyptian market capitalization, which is, as you hear in Arabic, رأس المال السوقي. For what? For the 219 companies. Contains bank, contains real estate, contains hospitals, a lot of companies, 219 companies. Has a market value equal 560 billion Egyptian pound. If you divide it by 16, which is a dollar value, it is represent about 35 billion dollars. Today, because so is this value 5 days before, the value is declining more today, and it becomes in around 30 billion dollars. So you have to know that our Egyptian stock market has a total value 30 billion dollars. Okay, what is the problem? The problem, in my opinion, that we have, as a finance student, we have to work very hard to do what? To do the same. To do what? Okay. It is not fair at all that the Amazon company has no assets. Just a website we can sell, buy from it. And the market cap from the Amazon company, $888 billion. Don't forget that our market is just 30 billion, which means that the value of Amazon equals 30 times approximately of our stock market. Same. This is the Apple company. Apple company also has no assets. It has just patent, براءات اختراع, and the value of the Apple company is 1 trillion, which equal 1,222 billion dollars. They equal approximately 40 times our stock market. Okay. What is the problem for us? Even this is the Facebook. Facebook, which is just internet. Facebook equal 485 billions. Approximately more than 15, 16 times our Egyptian stock market. So this is not fair at all, in my opinion. Even the value of these companies overvalued, or that our stock market undervalued. Okay, our finance student, what we have to do? We have to calculate the fair value of our companies. And if we announce to everyone that the fair value of our company equal more than the market value, it will encourage a lot of formal investor to invest in our stock market. Another way, we have to encourage our companies' managers to increase the performance of their companies, because our performance is very low. This is reflected in our profit by the end of the year. By increasing the profit, by increasing the rate of return for each company, I am sure that the prices will increase to equal some of this company. This is our responsibility as a finance student. Okay. Now, we are ready to do what? To know how can we calculate the index value. Again, don't forget this example. This is the number of shares for the 3 companies. I don't have to do it for the 30, but this is your homework by the end. And this is the prices in 1st of August. Okay? And this is the prices after 2 months. Again, this is the number of the stock, sorry, this is the value of the index at that time. And you need to calculate the value at the end using 4 approaches. The first approach, we call it the price weighted. Second approach, we call it the value weighted. Third approach, I hope that you still remember, we call it equal weighted. Last one, we call it attributed weighted, or sometimes we call it relative price. Now I'm going to solve this one using the 4 approaches for calculating the weight. Okay. Now this is our example. Don't forget that we are going to use the same example to calculate the weight for each stock using another of 4 approaches. Okay. This is number of shares, stock prices at 1st of August, stock prices at 1st of October. Okay. To calculate this one, to calculate the value of the index, we have to do the following. Value of the index at the time of T, which was today, equal. Don't forget, I'm going to use the price weighted approach. Value of the index today at the time of T equal what? Equal average price at the time of T divided by average price at the time of T minus 1, all multiplied by index value at the time of T minus 1, which is the previous value. Okay. How can we calculate the average price at the time of T? Average price at the time of T equal, I hope that I still remember the prices. I think it is 30 and 40 and 70. How many 140 divided by 3, which equal 46.6. So this is the average prices at the time of T. Okay, what is the average prices? Average prices at the time of T minus 1 equal, I wish that you still remember the numbers, 20 plus 30 plus 50 divided by 3, which equal 33.3. This is not points, this is the average price. Now we can apply our equation. Our equation, sorry I don't have space, but we can do this. Okay, it will be 46.3 divided by 33.3 multiply 150. If we do this, it will be 200 something. I assume it's 210. So this is the value of the index today. What this means? It means, okay, let me get a space. It means that our, okay, I'm listening to you. It means that our index increase by how much? I need now to calculate the change of the index. Increase by how much? 210, which is the ending value, minus 150, which is the beginning value. It means our index increased by 60 points, which is, what is the rate of return? You have to get this change, which is 60 divided by the beginning value, which is 150, which is represent approximately 40%. It means our index overall increase from August to October by 40% or by 60 points. Okay? Okay. What is the problem or disadvantage by using the approach of the prices? The problem is that by using this one, it's okay, numbers okay, yeah, okay. So this is the average. This one represents the average of the prices at that time, and this value, which is 46, the average of the prices at this time, and it is the same, 210, which equal the rate of return is 40%. But you have to know what? Sometimes the company, sometimes they make something, we call it a split of the stock. What is the split of the stock? Means تقسيم السهم. تقسيم السهم يعني ايه? Remember, the company B has 100 shares and the value of each stock is equal 40. If the company split the stocks 2 for each one, يعني كل سهم عندها هتقسمه لسهمين. In this case, is highly concentrated. In this case, the value of the stock will be 20, because I will take from you a stock with a price equal 40, and I will give you 2 stocks with a value equal 20. So in this case, on the market, you will find the stock price equal 20. But this 20, not because the performance of the stock is declined, no. This is because the stock price is split. السمان. طيب. Please highly concentrate also. The number of shares, what will be happening? It was 100 shares for a price 40. If I make this 20, if I split, it means this, I divide this by 2 and I will multiply this by 2. So this will be how much? Will be 200. I'm asking you, do you think that the market cap of the company, is it a change? No, there is no change. 100 multiply 40 equal 4,000. 200, the new number of shares, multiply 20 equal also, 4,000. And 200 multiply 20 also equal 4,000. So there is nothing happening to the market cap of the company. But we make the split to make the value of the stock low a little bit, and many investors, they can enter to the market to buy the stock with a low price, and in this case we make the liquidity of the stock becomes very high. This is one of the approaches that we can use it to increase the volume or increase the liquidity of the stock in the market. Okay, anyway, if the company make a split, how can we solve this problem for our index? In this case, we have to do what? Okay. Please don't forget, when we calculate the average, of the stock price, we divide it by how much? We divide it by 3. Remember that? This 3, we call it divisor, مقسوم عليه. In this case, to solve the problem of the split, we have to change the value of the divisor. How? Okay, let me take this one. Okay. Please don't forget, before I make the split, the value it was 30 plus 40 plus 70 divided by divisor equals 3, and the value it was 46.7. Sorry, I make it 0.3 before. Sorry, the right answer is 0.7. So now, if we take this value, if we take this stock, and we make a split by 1 for 2, or 2 for 1, in this case, the value of this one, the new value, it will be 30 plus 20 plus 70. It has to be by how much to give me the same value, which is 46.7. In this case, assume this is the x value, so, and this is divided by 1. In this case, we have to calculate the x value, which is the divisor, the new divisor. So the new divisor equal, the divisor, the new divisor equal 30 plus 20 plus 70. Those equal now 120. 120 multiply 1 equal divisor multiply 46. So divisor equal 120 divided by 46.7, which equal 2 something. 140 divided by
2.56.
2.57. Okay, so this is the value of the new divisor. What does it mean? Okay, if I need to calculate the value of the index in November or December, I shouldn't divide by by 3. I have to divide by the new value, which equal how much? 2.57. And this value, I will continue use it until what? Until we have another stock with a split. If you have split in another stocks, you have to change also the divisor. This is the most problem for the price-weighted approach. Okay? Second approach, I think Standard & Poor using the price-weighted. And for Egypt, I think the EGX 20 or 70, 100, maybe they are using the price-weighted approach. But, okay, okay. Now, if we need to use answer number 2, which is using the value approach. What I mean by value? Value means the market cap value. I hope they still remember what is the market cap value. Market cap, don't forget, this is the number of shares for stock A, B, C, and this is the price on August, and this is the prices of on October. The market cap in August, what's the market cap equal what? If this is the column number 1, number 2, number 3, column 4, it will be what? It will market cap equal the number of shares multiply the prices. So, from where I got the value which is 4,000? By do what? Yes, right? By multiplying 200 multiply 20, this is the 4,000. 100 multiply 30, this is 3,000. 150 multiply 50, this is 7,500. So, the market cap value of the total companies included in the index, 14,500. Okay, how about the market cap on October? Market cap in October, the same. It will be number of shares multiply of the prices in October. 200 multiply 30, this is 6,000. 100 multiply 40, 4,000. 150 multiply 70, it will be 10,500. Summation of those, 20,500. Okay, what is the value of the index, please? This is the equation. The value of the index, it will be, the number, okay. The equation, the index value at the time of t equal the market cap at the time of t, the market cap of the index, not for the whole market, divided by the market cap at the time of t minus 1. All multiplied by the index value at the time of t minus 1 equal, this was 20,500 divided by 14,500, all multiplied by 150 points, which is the index value at the beginning. So the value, it will be 220 points. Okay, in the media, what they will say? They will say that the market increased by 62 points From where I get 62? Which is what is 220 points, the new value, minus the previous value, which is 120, so it is increased by 62 points. Okay. What this means? It means that we have to calculate it as a percentage. It means that our market increased by the change itself divided by the previous value, which is 150. It is approximately 41%. This means that the index value increased by 61%. This is the most common approach, which is using the value. EGX30 uses this approach. Dow Jones, which is the biggest index, or the most common index in the whole world, using the market cap value. Now the third one. Now the third approach. Third approach, in my opinion, one of the best approach we can use. It is the equal weighted approach. Equal weighted approach. What does it mean, equal weighted approach? Okay. To understand the idea, now assume that our three stocks has a value. This one equal 20, this one equal 40, this one equal 80. Equal weighted approach means that we need to use equal value from each stock. What this means also? The previous approach, which is the value approach, has a problem. The problem is if we have a big company, it can control the index, like what in Egypt. In Egypt, CIB company has a very big value comparing with the other companies. It has a billions value. Comparing with the other value, so any change in the CIB, it will affect the whole index. To solve this problem, we have to use the equal weighted approach. Equal weighted approach is highly concentrated. Now, if we need to use equal weighted for the same companies, what this means? It means if I will use one stock from stock C, one stock from C equal $80 or 80 Egyptian pound. To make the other stocks has the same opportunity to be represented on the index. How many stock from B I have to use? In this case, I have to use two stocks from stock B, because 2 multiply 40, it will give me the same value, which is 80. If you understand, in this case, how many stock I have to use from stock A to give me the same value? In this case, I have to use 4 stock from stock A. In this case, 4 multiply 20 equal 2 multiply 40 equal 1 multiply 80. In this case, we call it is the weight. And we will continue use the same weight until any change will be happened on the stocks. Okay. But the life is not easy as this example. So in this case, we have to go back to our example to know how can we use the equal weighted approach. Don't forget that we have 3 stocks ABC, and this is the number of shares, 200, 100, 150. And this is the prices on August. Now, we need to calculate the weight for those. How can we get equal weighting? We have many approaches. One of the approaches, you can take 100 and divide it by each value. So in this case, 100 divided by 20, it will be 5. So this is the weight for stock 1. Second one, 100 divided by 30, it will be 3.3. So this is the weight for stock 2. 100 divided by 50, it will be equal to. So the weight will be 5, 3.3, and 2. Me, I can use 100. Another one of you, he can use 10. Another one, he can use 1. Whatever the value you are going to use will give you the weight at the beginning. So in our example, I use 1 to calculate the optimal, to calculate the equal weight. So please, how I get the value? Okay, I take just 1, I didn't take 100, but in the homework, please use 100. Okay. So now, calculating the weight. 1 divided by 20, it will be 5%. So this 5%, from where I get it? This 5% I get it by, sorry, from where I get the 5%, this 5%.
البن فوقيها اللي فوقيها ايوه.
This 5% I calculated by taking 1 divided by 20. This 0.0333 I got it from divided by 1 divided by 30. This one by taking 1 divided by 50. So this is the weight we are going to use forever. Okay, now we need to calculate the index value at the 1st of August. How can I calculate the value? By taking the prices multiplied by the weight. So 20 multiplied 0.05 equal 1. 30 multiplied 0.0333 equal 1. 50 multiplied by 0.02 equal 1. So this is the value of the index at 1st of August. The value of the index at 1st of October, or the weighted value. Okay. It will be what? I will take the new prices, which is 30 multiply the same weight, which is 0.05. 30 multiply 0.05 give me 1.5. 40 multiply 0.0333 give me 1.33. 70 multiply 0.02, it will give me the new value, which is equal 1.4. Now, this is the index value or the weighted value at 1st of August, summation of those, this value which is 3, this 3 equal what? So the 3 is the sum, this value is the summation, it has to, okay, it has to come, okay. The 3 is the summation of those, and this value, okay.
Marker.
Okay.
Close the marker. Close the marker.
This 3, as it comes clear here, the 3 is the summation of the value from 1 to 3, and this value, which is 4.2, is the summation of the from G4 until G6, which is 1.5, 1.33, 1.4, so this is a value. Now, how can we calculate the index value? Our index value, same equation, okay? Index value at the time of t equal the index value or index value weighted at the time of t, which is this value 4.2, divided by index value at the time of t minus 1, all multiply by the index value at the time of t minus 1, which equal to differentiate between this and this, we can call this is the index value at the time, okay? We can call this weighted index value at the time of t, and this is weighted index value at the time of t minus 1. This one will be equal 4.2 this 4.233 divided by 3 all multiplied by 150 equal, this one equal 220. Again, please calculate the change of the index. Delta index equal 220 minus 150, which equal 62 points. Okay, again, this 62 points represent how much? We have to calculate the delta as a percentage. If a delta as a percentage equal 62 divided by 150 equal 41%, which means the stock value increase by 62%, which represent 40% or 41% as a value. Okay? Okay. This is the equal weighted approach. The last approach we have, okay, which is relative price approach. How can we calculate the relative price approach? Okay. Relative price approach. You have to know that we need, don't forget, we need to calculate the index let me do the equation and go back again. Okay. price approach, the index value equal index value at the time of t equal the geometric average multiply by the index value at the time of t minus 1. The index value at the time of t minus 1, we know the value which equal 150. How can we calculate the geometric average? GA or geometric average, equal the root of the relative prices. But the root is power n, and n equal the number of shares including in the index. So, if we calculate the geometric average for EGX30, so in this case, this one will be power 30. For 100, this will be power 100. For 70, will be 70. Okay. But for our example, because we have only 3 shares, so this one will be power 3. Power 3 of what? Of the relative prices. Relative prices. How can I get the relative price? Relative price of stock A equal the stock price at the time of T divided by the stock price at the time of T minus 1. For example, stock A, as far as I remember, the stock A has a price equal 30 at the time of T, and has a time equal, the value equal 20 at the time of T minus 1. So, the relative price is equal 1.5. I wish if we can calculate the rest of the prices. As far as I remember, the stock B, it was 40. Okay, so I have to get this one here. This is the relative price of A. The stock B, if I remember also, it has, this is B, okay, it has value equal, okay, this is B, okay, I'll take another color, this is B. For the stock B, I think the price at the end it was 40, and at the beginning it was 30. So this one equal 1.33. So this one, it has to be multiplied by 1.33. Okay. For the stock C, also fine. Still remember the numbers. The stock C, it has, this is the stock C. The price, the new price is equal 70, and the old price was 50. So the value equal 1.4. 1.4. So the relative price, it has to be for C, it is 1.4. Okay. By multiplying this value, so and to get the third root, So the value, it is 1.41. So this is the geometric value. Okay, don't forget our equation. Our equation to calculate the index value at the time of t, it is equal to the geometric value, okay? The geometric average value, which is 1.41, multiply the index value at the time of t minus 1. So the index value, in this case, it will be 212. So it means that our index value increase by how much? Yes, 62. So delta index equal 212 minus 150, it is equal to 62. But this is the change as a value. We need that change as a percentage. Yes, it is 62 divided by 150, which equal 41% or 40%. It means our index increased from August to October by 41%. This is the 4 approaches we can use to calculate the index. The 4 approaches is the price weighted, the value weighted, the weighted average weighted, and the relative or attributed index weighted. The aim of our lecture. What is the relation between our lecture and the reality? How can we benefit from this lecture? For the student to have a consultant company in the future, this is how can we make our consultant. You see this value? Okay, this is the value of the index at the beginning. If you can apply the 4 approaches for this example, now you are ready to sell your consultant. By how much? This is the number of shares. We call it free float number of shares. You have to ask in our Egyptian stock market, what is the free float shares for each company? You will get it. It's okay. And you can calculate the price anytime, and you can calculate the, find the price at the next time. And apply the 4 approaches, but start for this one first. Okay. In Egypt, we don't have an Islamic index. Even the Dow Jones, the American Dow Jones, it has an Islamic index. Okay, so how can we design an Islamic index? We can design an Islamic index, first of all, by having the criteria of the company. It will be included in the index, which means the criteria according to Islamic Sharia, it is accepted. We have some criteria. It's okay, I'm going to explain it another lecture, inshallah. But one of them, the product of the company must be halal. So, Eastern company for smoke, it is prohibited. Alcohol company prohibited, and so on. Okay? After you select the company, okay, you can calculate or get the number of shares for this company, and calculate the prices at the beginning and at the end, and apply the 4 approaches. index which is not applicable on Egypt stock market. You can sell this index to any company or any bank or any broker has an investor, they need to invest in an Islamic company. We, as I said before, we have a Standard & Poor's Islamic company, Islamic index. We have Dow Jones Islamic index. And now we can have an Egyptian Islamic index, and you can call it Alexandria Islamic index. Alexandria University Islamic index. And the guarantee, you can sell the idea, you can sell the design of the new index. This is how can we make money, by thinking and by our lecture. Have a nice night, and please don't forget to send me the two homework, the one at the beginning and this one on my email. I am waiting for the homework. Have a nice night. Goodbye.